A Campbell Soup executive was secretly recording people, or really secretly recording himself, I should say, and he was trashing poor people. He was mocking coworkers, and he was clowning the very food that his company sells. And now the worker who reported him, not the worker doing all the foul stuff, but the worker who reported him, says that he was the one who got fired. The tape, more than 75 minutes long, captured Campbell's vice president and chief information security officer, Martin Bally, going off on a just disgusting, profanity filled rant that was so wild that it now sits at the center of a new lawsuit. The recording was made by Robert Garza, a cybersecurity analyst who joined Campbell's last fall. He says he hit record on instinct during what was supposed to be a routine salary check in. Instead, he says he got an hour of insults, confessions, and chaos that left him completely stunned. According to the suit, Bally slammed Campbell's own products, saying, "We have shit for fucking poor people," and bragged that he barely buys Campbell's food because he knows what's in it. That's scary. He even mocked the ingredients, saying he refused to eat, quote, bioengineered meat, like chicken from, he called chicken from a 3D printer. Now, that's enough. We don't need any more. We don't got to share anymore. But I will anyway, because the rant didn't stop there. Garza says that Bally tore into Indian colleagues, calling them fucking idiots who couldn't think for them fucking selves. The suit also alleges that Bally admitted to sometimes coming to work from high off marijuana edibles. Anyway, Garza says he kept the recording to himself at first, then took it to his manager in July, believing that the company would address it. 20 days later, they did. They fired him, not the other guy, not the racist, but the whistleblower. Garza's lawyer says his client had no performance issues and was even praised by Bally during that same meeting. The lawsuit claims that Campbell's created a racially hostile work environment and retaliated against Garza for reporting discrimination. Now, a Campbell spokesperson says that Bally is now temporarily on leave while the company investigates. They called the recorded comments unacceptable and added that the claims about Campbell's food are patently absurd. Yeah, they got that in there. They're like, look, all right, this racism stuff is bad, but please understand there's no 3D printer chicken. There is no bioengineered milk or meat or vegetables. We good over here. That's what they wanted to say. Anyway, Garza says he waited months with no follow-up from HR, lost his job, and spent 10 months trying to rebuild his career. Now, he believes he was punished for trying to protect others. His attorney says they're seeking justice and accountability. Now, let me say this. I don't know what actually happened. I just don't. I wasn't there. But this sounds pretty intense. The first thing is the whistleblower thing, right? In companies, you have whistleblowers. In governments, you have whistleblowers. You have people who are willing to risk it all, risk their lives, risk their careers, risk their reputations by putting a spotlight on bad behavior, on immoral or unjust or otherwise illegal behavior. They're willing to do it. And we protect the whistleblower. But I was thinking about this, and I can't tell you why just yet, but I have an interview with a whistleblower in Al Jazeera that'll make it clear. You'll see next week. What separates a whistleblower from a snitch? What separates a whistleblower from somebody who's not? You get what I'm saying? From a Karen, etc. We've had these debates before about what it means to mind your own business, what it means to stay out of the way. You know, if somebody's barbecuing in the wrong area, we don't call them a whistleblower. We call them a Karen. We call them a Karen. So where is the line, right? I think for me, it's about the public good. It's about the amount of impact this particular action has on the community or on a broader public. It's not like I'm just messing with you because you're doing something. You're doing something that does great harm to all of us, And so that is where the whistleblower thing comes in. Why am I mentioning this? Well, because sounds like a whistleblower here. May not seem like it. It may seem like you're just catching an individual racist, but for me, for my money, if a company has one person like that, then that company has 10 people like that. If a company has 10 people like that, then they have a system, they have a culture, they have a practice of moving a certain way. And that culture, habit, practice can be dangerous if you don't respect the public that you serve. And yeah, Campbell Noodle Soup in some ways is poor people food. That's not a bad thing. Poor people need to eat. Poor people deserve to eat. And if you can make a healthy, good product for them, why not? But if you don't respect the audience, if you don't respect the poor people that you're serving as a company, if you have antipathy toward these groups of people, and it's unashamed to a large extent, then I have no reason to believe that you're going to be acting in our best interests, even in the short term. I'd be worried. So there is a public good that might be protected here. Uh, if the company has a culture of, and let me be clear, this isn't like an assembly line worker. This is the vice president and chief information security officer. So this is a high-ranking executive. This is the C-suite. That's what I mean by culture. I'm not saying that if you have one assembly line worker who's racist, then everybody's racist. But come on, it's hard to be the only racist executive. I'm not convinced. I cannot be convinced, even more accurately, that there's not more of them. So that's why this is a bigger deal than you think. But yet still, all the company had to do was address it. They could have done disciplinary action against Martin Bally. They could have suspended him pending an investigation. They did none of that. Now, again, I don't know. I wasn't there. I don't know what Campbell's angle is here. I don't know what they thought was going to happen. I don't know what they thought should happen. I don't understand what their game plan was. Maybe there's a missing element here that would make this all make sense. But as of now, with the information we have, Campbell they're in some trouble. They have a culture, they have a practice that needs to be addressed. Do I believe that they have fake meat, or do I believe that everybody there is racist? No, I don't actually. I think that, people talk trash, they vent, they say things that aren't exactly true in certain contexts. But again, that reveals something. That tells me something about you. That tells me something about who you are as a company. That tells me what you value. That tells me how you value it. All that stuff for me says something. And so I'm not letting you off the hook just because that ain't true if it's not true. Still got some stuff to deal with.